I'd love to know about the Streetbees journey. 9 years, raised 79 million, grew to 200 people. That's a serious startup journey. And then exited, which is incredible. What feel like the defining moments along that Streetbees journey?
Great question. You know why it's a great question? Because defining moments end up not being the ones you expect it to be. You know, when I started this, like you were saying, drive has been part of my personality since little I've known myself. Between my previous job as a strategy consultant, you work really long hours. You're talking about like easily 60, 70-hour weeks pretty consistently. And I left that company to start Streetbees. And I remember very well my last day. I came back to office, said goodbye to everyone. It was a morning. I walked back home, passing through Hyde Park. I was already living in Marylebone at the time. I sat down in Hyde Park by myself for about 10 minutes. I was like, wow, what did I just do? Like, I left behind a perfectly secure and like a very exciting career to start something and completely unknown. And that was my 10 minutes to think about it. And then I got out of the bench, walked back home, and there was already a designer waiting for me at the door. We went upstairs. He started designing my logo. I didn't have an office. He was working in my living room, right? And that was my break, 10 minutes basically, between, finishing a consultancy career and starting the new business. And this time I was a lot more mindful about it, planning to take a bit of a longer time. But, that kind of like gets back to you, that you get excited and you jump back in. So the Streetbees journey, when I started, I thought what would be the memorable moments was wins, awards, raises, revenues, right? As much as they were fun, what I really remember is team working sessions when we solved a problem, right? It might be like 10 p.m. in maybe someone's flat with whiteboards on the wall. And that is so much fun because you're trying to crack a problem and you're working all together, you are bouncing ideas with each other. When now I look back at it, like what were the moments I really remember? Those are the moments. I remember we did the first retreat of the company ever. It was in 2016 in Sicily. And we took the whole team. We were, I think, about 20 people then. I remember so many frames from that trip. The workshops we did, the dinners we did together. So I think to me that was the biggest learning. Like when I look back, yes, we did massive fundraisers. We were in the news. We got so many awards from like fastest growing tech companies, from Deloitte to being selected as the EY Entrepreneur of the Year for London, etc. They are very exciting. But I think the very special moments you remember is when you worked together to solve a problem.
I love that. Does any specific story come to mind?
There's so many, like some of them are quite mundane, right? And the problems get bigger and bigger as you go. But I think there is no such thing as small problem, because at that point in the journey of the Streetbees or any startup, if you don't solve it, there won't be bigger problems because you won't move forward. So taking the business even at that stage very seriously is quite important. I remember we had our first customer, Unilever, and we were so proud to get them on board. It's a 60 billion euro business. And they were giving us a chance to create business intelligence from natural language, which was a very unique, very new idea. We're talking about 10 years ago. There was not such thing as like LLMs being talked about. Even the transformers were a new thing that you would find in like AI papers, basically. So they gave us a chance, right? But in the research, they wanted to cover Vietnam. At that point, we don't have any users in Vietnam. But classic being a startup, you have to be resourceful. So your chances are I get to work with one of the biggest brand names in the world. I need to solve my community problem in Vietnam. Or I go back and say, no, sorry, I can't do this now. Let's talk later. There may not be a later if you are not making progress. So being super scrappy and resourceful, we were very transparent with them. that, look, this is the situation, but we are confident we can do this. And if we can't, money back. All right, so we're not going to take your money if we can't actually do it. But also, we don't want to lie and say that we do have a community in Vietnam, which is not true. We don't, right? So what we did then is we spent the next 2 days literally calling up anyone who may know someone in Vietnam, trying to like find 1 or 2 ambassadors on the ground who can start building a community for us. We started running Facebook ads to like Facebook groups in Vietnam. And then we sent one of our interns to Heathrow Airport to wait by the Vietnamese airlines and ask every person who is boarding the plane, are you from Vietnam? And if they say yes, would you like to become a member of Streetbees when you go back to Vietnam? We would love a photo of your laundry. Can you imagine someone actually having that conversation with you in the airport? It is bizarre. Wow. It worked. And hacking with guerrilla tactics in the origination of a B2C journey is incredibly important. We built a community of 2,000 people in Vietnam under 2 weeks. And we delivered that project successfully. They loved the results. Unilever, over the 8-year journey, have become and stayed as our largest customer. So those are the kind of moments where you are bringing the whole team together. Sometimes it's a community challenge. I remember one day we woke up and my finance manager told me that, Tugce, PayPal is down. We basically pay, so the people on the ground, for those of you who don't know Streetbees so much, we were the first company who turned real life moments that people experience as part of their life into data, big scale data that big consumer brands can tap into to shape their products, to shape their marketing campaigns. So no surveys, no multiple choice questions, just a chat, natural language being captured as you are experiencing your life, right? For example, if you are having a dinner, if you're having a cocktail, you can just take a video of it, talk to us, what is going on, why did you choose that drink, why did you like that ice cream? And we grab all of that, use natural language processing, use large language models to turn it into quantified data, right? So sometimes the problems were about other issues like payment systems. We basically found ourselves, we need to make about 1 million microtransactions per month. So that means if you contribute data to our platform, we are going to pay you for your data contribution. And AJ, this was something we felt very passionately about, right? Data is valuable, so why should it be free? If people are willing to pay for that data, you should, as the generator of that data, take a cut, right? So one morning I wake up, my finance director says, we can't make payments. I'm like, are you kidding? Is this like a joke? 1 million people, if we can't pay, we can't operate. That means operations are down, basically, right? Because these payments need to be made daily. And we get PayPal on the phone. They're like, we don't know what's going on. You're going to have to wait. We are reviewing your account for some suspicious behavior that is completely not in our control, right? And again, those are the kind of solutions that you can either panic, get upset, you can get angry at your vendor. None of it is going to help, right? Instead, you get resourceful. And the team pulls together and someone basically started finding one trusted person in each country to whom we can make the transfer. And then those people can actually continue to make payments using whatever tool is available in their country, right? So if it's in China, they can use Alipay or VPay. If it's in Turkey, they use Papara, etc. Completely, again, guerrilla tactics, because what matters is the core value. People need to get paid. Right? We are not gonna wait for our vendor to resume operations. We have to solve this problem. But those are the moments, when you look back, you remember, wow, that was fun, solving that. That was a lot of fun.